We are honored to have with us tonight an award-winning speaker, author, and athlete. While he's not training for American Ninja Warrior, he is busy as a student success coach. The son of Vietnamese immigrants and a graduate of Pepperdine University, he has experienced the good times and the bad, but he has learned how to persevere and strive for success. He is recognized as the best youth motivator by the International Examiner. Hoan travels across North America sharing his particular advice that helps students succeed in and out of the classroom. Let's give a warm SC FFA welcome to our keynote speaker, the American Ninja Warrior, Mr. Hoan Do.
I'm curious, by a show of hands, how many have friends that are talented? Whether artists, athletes, maybe they're academically gifted. Okay, so check this out. It's my first year in school, and as I'm making new friends, I begin to realize that all of my new friends are amazingly talented. I mean, they could sing, dance, play a musical instrument, you name it, they could do it. And personally, I was a little jelly. Why? Because all my friends could be part of the school talent show, whereas I could not. Only thing I was really good at in high school was that I could wrestle. Now, by show of hands, do we have any wrestlers here? Okay. Got a small handful. Now, this is what I want to share. Wrestling takes a lot of skill, but it's not really a talent. Why? Because you can sing in public, you can dance in public, but you can't go outside and start grabbing random people and begin wrestling them. I mean, you can, but a little awkward. So after the talent show was over, I decided I needed a talent, so I enrolled into acting. Now, everyone here ever taken acting or drama? Make some noise for me. Now, if you've never had that experience, it's okay. I just want to share with you that it's exceptionally difficult. Why? Because all the assignments seem to push you outside of your comfort zone. I remember one day after class, teacher grabs us, sits us down, he says, guys, our next assignment is unlike anything we've ever done. It is called the rock star assignment. Now, at this point in time, it's about halfway through the semester. So after a couple of assignments underneath my belt, my confidence was at an all-time high. I was like, Mr. Campbell, bring it. He then says, for this assignment, you must choose a song you've not normally listened to. You must choreograph a dance and then lip sync it in front of the entire class. In that moment, I thought to myself, you've got to be kidding me. I'm walking home from school, I'm like, there's no way I can do this. What if I look stupid? What if I embarrass myself? What if my friends make fun of me? But as I'm walking home from school, I come up with this brilliant idea. You see, I was thinking, I don't need to do this assignment. I just need to figure out how many points it is worth. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? I just need to figure out how many points it's worth, skip the assignment, and make up those points doing something else. So I walk home, I get to my room, I find my syllabus. Rockstar assignment, 100 points. Underneath, though, in big, bold letters, it says, you must do this assignment to pass the class. In that moment, I realized I had a difficult decision to make. Was I going to pursue my goal and learn how to act, but possibly embarrass myself in the process? Or was I going to let my fears, my doubts, other people's thoughts hold me back from achieving my goal? You see, the reason why I share this story with you is because I feel that it's a lot like life. You may not want to learn how to act, but maybe for you as an FFA member, you want to experience the National FFA Convention and Expo in October. Maybe for you, it's increasing members at your school to come in to experience this amazing organization called FFA. Maybe for you, it's acing that difficult class, getting into that dream college, or maybe for you, it's simply saying hello to that cute girl or guy that you've noticed while walking into the state convention. You laugh because you know it's true. You see, regardless of what your goals are, what I've realized is that whatever your goals are, your ability to succeed in achieving them, your ability to transform the ideas into your head into real life, doesn't come down to your age, your skin color, your background, how you grew up, what you have or what you don't have, but rather it comes down to the decisions you make every single day. And in our short time together, I just want to share with you two simple pieces of advice, two decisions that if you apply to your lives, it will help you to succeed in FBLA, in school, and in life. When I said FBLA, I meant FFA, excuse me. Some of you guys are like, what did he say? Oh, no, he didn't. I flew in this morning from Seattle, Washington, and I took a red-eye flight. And in coming here, I got here, I think, 30 or 40 minutes before you guys just would come in. So I'm a little jet lagged, so I apologize for that slip. I'm curious, in our time together, I want you to know, we want to make sure we make the most of our time. Why? Because I realize that time is the one thing we can never get back. You made a decision to be part of this amazing FFA organization, and you made the time to be here at the state convention. And I don't take that lightly. And the two things I want to be upfront about is, one, I'm not here to pretend like I have all the answers. Why? Because I make mistakes all the time. You guys saw I made one just a couple seconds ago. With that being said, I've gone through some unique experiences that I believe that can best support you in your lives. Second thing I want to be upfront about is I'm not here as a speaker to lecture to you. Why? Because it's never fun for someone to talk at you. I mean, have you ever gotten in trouble by your parents? What happens? You get home, they talk at you. Ever get in trouble by a teacher in class? What happens? They talk at you. Ever get in trouble with Bae? Oh. What happens? They talk at you. It's not fun. So within our time together, I want you to know, think of me less of a speaker, but more as a friend. You know, like a funny, cool, amazingly good-looking and humble friend that's just here to have a conversation. But to have a conversation, you need at least how many people? Help me out. 2. So there'll be times I might be asking you questions. If it relates to you, feel free to yell out an answer. There'll be times I might ask you to raise your hands. If it relates to you, feel free to raise your hand. Why? Because if we have a conversation where we go back and forth, I guarantee you we'll have a lot more fun. Time will fly by, and you'll take more away from our time here together. So if you're up for making this less of a lecture, but more of a conversation, do me a favor. Put both hands out like this, motion at me like this, and say, Juan, let's have a conversation. Can't believe you guys did that. No, JK. So I know we have a wide range of people all across South Carolina here, and regardless if you're middle school or high school, you've graduated, you're adult, here to support your advisor, whatever role you're in, what I've realized is in every stage in life, it can be stressful. Is that a fair statement, yes or no? Yes. And here's my problem. Oftentimes you hear a speaker or someone give you a piece of advice. The common advice I hear is if you're going through a difficult time, the key is to always have a positive attitude. Now, if you heard that advice before, cross your arms like this. Look at the person next to you and be like, man, I heard that before. And this is what I want to share with you. Having a positive attitude all the time, I've realized that is the worst advice ever. Why? Yes, you can clap it up for that. Why? Because it's easier said than done. Have you ever had one of those weeks in school where anything that could go wrong goes wrong? You're prepping for FFA, with your project, all the things you're working on, you're so tired because not only are you involved in FFA, but you're involved in everything else in your school, you got family things to take care of, you're involved in extracurricular activities, you name it, you're tired. So all of a sudden one day you're like, you know what, I just need a break. You decide, I'm gonna go sleep early tonight because I deserve it. You close your eyes open. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to write that paper. You pull an all-nighter, you whip this paper out. You go to class, you turn it in, but you are so tired. Your eyes are so heavy, you can barely keep it open. You go next class, all of a sudden you get test scores back, you absolutely bomb the test. Not only are you tired, now you're stressed out. You go to your next class, teacher yells out, pop quiz, for real? Oh. You're tired, you're stressed out, you're upset. You're sitting at school, grabbing lunch, your friend sees you. Being the good friend they are, they try to cheer you up. They're like, hey, you okay? You're like, no. Hey, what's wrong? Worst day ever. Hey, you know what? It's gonna be okay. Really, why? Because all you need to do is have a positive attitude. You sit there for a moment, you're thinking, okay, thank you, Captain Obvious. And you're like, I think all you need to do is shut up. Because that is not helping my situation right now. You see, the problem with trying to always be positive is, one, it's easier said than done. But number two, what I've realized is oftentimes in life, people have this idea like you have to have things always going well in your life, otherwise something's wrong with you. And I've noticed that too many people then will put on this mask. They put on this front like everything's perfect in their life, but it's not. I remember it was my senior year in college, and my best friend and I were living together. He came home from class, instantly I knew something was wrong. Why? Boom, door slammed shut. He walks through, he takes his textbooks, he throws it against the wall. I turn around, hey Chris, you okay? I'm fine! Obviously, you are. I then notice on the ground his cell phone broken in half. I'm thinking, my friend, if that's what you do when you're feeling fine, let me know when you're feeling awesome. Because I don't want none of my stuff near you, okay? After a couple minutes, he says, Juan, I'm gonna be so honest with you, man, school is kicking my butt. Life is just so stressful. My parents have been arguing. My girlfriend and I haven't been talking. Life's challenging. And what I want you to know is that if you're going through challenging times, we all go through it, and realize it's okay. Rather than trying to always be positive, I think the first decision that will help you succeed in FFA, in school, and in life comes down to having the right attitude. You see, what that means is when things happen to you, you acknowledge how you feel. You don't ignore it. For example, how many of you here are feeling a little overwhelmed because you have a lot on your plate towards the end of the school year? I want you to know that it's okay to feel overwhelmed. Who here is a little stressed out because you're not sure what you want to do after you graduate from school? I want you to know it is okay if you're feeling stressed out about that. You see, what I've noticed is that we're all like soda cans. You see, what happens is we go through life and life shakes us up. We might have something happen back at home, or something that happened between our friends, or maybe you have just that one really difficult class in school. Life shakes us up. And the challenge is that too many people hold in that carbonation. And I'm curious, what happens to a soda can if you keep shaking it up and then you eventually open it? Explodes. And unfortunately, this is what happens to too many people. So to help with that, if you're going through a stressful time, acknowledge how you feel. And how does that work in life? Maybe for you, it's writing it down in a journal. Maybe it's talking to a caring adult. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's just listening to music and taking time for you. Whatever it is, make sure when you're feeling stressed out is to release that personal carbonation from your soda can. Second thing you do is you make sure you don't make the situation worse than it is. I'm not sure about you, but sometimes when something unfortunate happens, it feels like it's the worst thing that could possibly happen in your life. And you probably experienced that, and you've known also is that when you give it time, it doesn't hurt as bad. So first thing you do, acknowledge how you feel. Don't make it worse than it is. And number three, most importantly, if you want something to change, you have to do something differently. For example, oftentimes I connect with different students all across the country, and they're like, Juan, how do you figure out what you want to do? And I said, it's easy. It's like figuring out your style of clothing. You know, think about when we grow up, our parents dress up, but then it gets a certain point, junior high, middle school, you're like, I'm gonna buy my own clothes. I like this style, right? You go to the mall, you try a shirt on. For you, it's too baggy, you don't like it, you put it back in the rack. You go different rack, you try on a shirt, it fits well, but it's not cute. So you put it back in the rack. You find a different shirt, you put it on, it looks good, you look in the mirror, you're like, that's on flake. And you buy it. Well, guess what? It's the same thing with life. It's a trial and error process. The difficult point is sometimes I know adults will say, hey, what do you want to do with your life? And you're like, I'm not sure. Like, well, we got to figure out what you want to study, all this, and realize it's okay if you don't know. And oftentimes adults will say, oh, you're so lucky because I didn't have all the options that you did. And you're thinking, well, that's the problem. There are too many options. What do I choose? Well, think of it as trying on clothes. You try out one outfit at a time. For many of you, being a part of FFA, I'm sure, has been a truly rewarding experience. And it's because you said, you know what, that looks interesting. A friend said, why don't you come to a meeting? Why don't you check this out? And you tried on that outfit. And guess what? You liked it. You continued wearing it. If all of a sudden you might think to yourself, oh, you know what, when I grow up, I always want to do this. And you might have a volunteer opportunity. You might have an internship. You're thinking, you know what, this is not what I expected. I don't want to do it. And I want you to know, if you decide to change your mind, it's okay. You just put it back on the rack and you try something else on. What I want you to realize is that if you want things to change, you have to do things differently. You have to take action. If you're trying to figure out what you want to do, try one thing on at a time. If it doesn't work, try something else on. I mean, does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay, so here's the thing. Some of you are thinking, all right, I've got to have the right attitude. I've got to acknowledge how I feel to make it worse than it is, and then do something about it. And some of you are thinking, that's easier said than done. And you're right, because you all know the importance of attitude. But here's my challenge. Oftentimes, you hear someone sharing advice, whether it's a speaker, someone in your life, they say, you gotta have a great attitude. And it's easy to have it when things are going great. But when we experience challenges in our life, that advice is not practical. It's like, well, how do you have that great attitude or that right attitude? So rather than being one of those people, I wanna give you a technique you can use. Something you can use in your life anytime you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed to help you to change your attitude when the times are tough. Now, this technique's called changing the station. Imagine you had a tough week in school. Jump in the car, driving home. Your radio's left on. All of a sudden, it's a song that you absolutely love. What are you going to do? This is the interactive part. You're going to crank it up. Some of you start singing, some of you start dancing. You feel good. All of a sudden, the song ends. This next song that pops up is a horrible, annoying, whack song that absolutely kills the mood. I'm curious, are you going to continue listening to that song, or are you going to change station? What are you going to do? Change station. Well, here's the thing. Whether you know it or not, we all have stations up here in our heads. The challenging part, though, is they all often play whack songs. Songs that sound like this. Man, you can't do that because you're not smart enough. You can't do that because you're not popular enough. Because you're not athletic enough. Because you're not pretty enough. Because you're not something enough. And unfortunately in life, we're never taught how to change that station or that playlist up here in our heads. You see, for me, I came from a family that escaped the Vietnam War. My dad was a fighter pilot with the Republic of Vietnam, fighting alongside the United States. After the war was over, he was taken away and put into re-education camp for 4 years until my mom broke him out and fled to the United States. When we came to the United States, we lived in what was considered one of the top 3 most dangerous cities in the entire country. Fortunately for me, I had unbelievable parents that didn't let me see any of that and didn't make me realize that we didn't have much. So growing up, all I want to do is to succeed so I can make my parents proud and I could take care of them. And when I went to high school, everything looked great from the surface. I was a 3.7 GPA student. I was top 10 in wrestling. I got accepted to go to Pepperdine University down in Malibu, California. And I was prom king, all that stuff. What people did not see, though, was I was depressed. Why? Because my whack song was I was never good enough. You see, I struggle with math. I'm not sure if any of you can relate. But when I was taking statistics and pre-calculus, I just didn't get it. And I remember I get so frustrated because I went before school started, I stayed afterwards, got a tutor, and it just didn't make sense in my head. And the most frustrating part for me was that when I look over to my friends, it was so easy for them, yet it was so difficult for me. And all I could think about was, Juan, what's wrong with you? Boom. I hear my station, it's because you're not good enough. Going to the state tournament in wrestling, I lost my first match. I'm on to my second match. So if I win, I advance to the tournament. If I lose, it's over. It's the third round. Guy was on the top. I was on the bottom. All I need to do is stand up, break his grip, and I get a point and I'd win. There's 3 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. I stand up, I break his grip. As I step back, the ref blows a whistle. He raises my hand. I'm running, I'm excited, getting ready for my next match. And all of a sudden, he yells my name. I turn around. He goes to the score table, comes back, no explanation, takes the point back. Now we're in sudden death. First person who scores wins. So he centers up in the center of the mat. He blows his whistle. I step back. I shoot in. But as I shoot in, I miss. I fall on my side. Guy gets behind me. He gets the 2 points, and he wins. I remember I was sitting on the side of the mat, had tears rolling down my cheeks, and all I could think about was what went wrong. All I could think about were all the moments where I sacrificed for this opportunity. I thought about all the weekends I gave up not hanging out with friends. I thought about all the early mornings I go. And I started also thinking about the summer camps I went through during the summertime. And all I could think about was, Juan, what went wrong? All I could hear was, boom, Juan, it's because you're not good enough. And for me, I was thinking to myself, if I'm never going to be not good enough, why should I continue trying? And that's when I started having suicidal thoughts. Fortunately, I had a caring adult that reached out to me, just like the adults that serve as your advisors for your chapter. And this adult helped me to realize that that negative self-talk or that whack song in my station wasn't true. The reason why I bring this up is because we all have whack songs playing in our stations. And what I've realized that these songs were written by something that happened in our past. You see, maybe you had a challenging time in your life. Maybe you had a setback, experience where someone made fun of you for doing something differently. Or maybe you had a really trying personal challenge within your relationships. And what I've realized is that these songs play over and over in our head. But what I want you to understand is that's the past, and you can't change that. What you can change, though, is everything moving forward. Why? Because your past does not predict your future. The mistakes you made do not define who you are. And your setbacks in life does not define your future success. What does? It's you making that conscious decision to change that station when you have that negative self-talk. So the next time you feel yourself feeling bummed out, feeling stressed and having that negative self-talk in your head, this is what you do. To change your attitude, you simply say, hold up, that is whack. Now, some of you are thinking right now, no, Juan, that was whack. And I know it's silly, but it works, and for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's silly, it makes you laugh. And when you laugh, do you feel better, yes or no? Yes. Yeah. And here's the thing, when you feel better, you can make better decisions than when you're stressed out. How many of you here, when you're stressed out, you said something or done something you've not intentionally meant? Right? So 1, you feel better, you laugh, feel better, you think clear, you make better decisions. Second reason why it works is that it's because it's so random, it will make you temporarily forget about what's stressing you out. For example, have you had one of those days you talk with your friend, and as you're talking with your friend, you notice out of the corner of your eye that cute guy or girl for one of your classes. As you're talking with your friend, you can't help but realize that your head is slowly moving over so that you can appreciate the beauty that is in front of you. Your friend's talking to you, you don't hear a single word. Has that ever happened, anybody here? Show of hands. Number 1 is, I know it's very bright up here, but I can still see all of you. I saw like 7 hands. For those 7 people or so that raised their hands, thank you for your honesty. For those who did not, you are straight liars. JK, no, not really. So when you say, hold up, that is whack, I know it's silly, but that's the metaphor of you changing the station in real life. That's you changing that playlist in your head. So when you change the station in a car on your playlist, you want to make sure you play a new song, one that you actually like. So how do you do that in real life? Simple. You say, hold up, that is whack, because the truth is, then you give yourself a reason why that negative self-talk isn't true. So I've shared with you a story from my life where, as Austin shared, I had a chance to compete on a show called American Ninja Warrior. For those who are not, okay, you guys seem to be familiar with it? Cool. For those who have no idea what American Ninja Warrior is, it's pretty much a physically demanding obstacle course race show that has people doing crazy things like flying 10 feet through the air or running up 14-foot curved walls. And I was getting ready to compete in the show. It was a week before competing, and then I had this idea. I said, you know what? I need to go practice on a trampoline. Why? Because they have them all throughout the course on the show, and it's been forever since I've been on one. So I go to this place that has tons of trampolines. As I'm jumping, I could feel myself getting scared. So I was thinking, Juan, just take your time. As I'm jumping, all of a sudden I hear kids laughing. So I look to my right. This kid's jumping 5-10 feet off the ground, no fear. All of a sudden, this girl's yelling to my left. I look over. This girl's doing backflips effortlessly on the trampoline. In that moment, I thought to myself, forget taking it slow. I need to do something really cool, really quick. Otherwise, these kids are about to show me up. So then I noticed there's a trampoline on the wall slanted diagonally. You could run off, bounce off the wall, bounce back. In my head, I was thinking, I could do that, but that's way too basic. I'm about to be a ninja warrior. I must do something way cooler. So do any of you remember the movie The Matrix with Keanu Reeves? For those who don't, it's pretty much a 2.5-3 hour movie of Keanu Reeves and his friends floating through the air and defying gravity. I was thinking to myself, I'll defy gravity, float over it, kick off it, flip, land gracefully, look cool. I run towards this trampoline. I kick off it. As I spin around, all of a sudden, the main trampoline sunk down a foot without expectation, so I fly forward. As I fly forward, I snap my ankle. My ankle, if they'll show up on the screen, is the size of a softball. All right, go ahead and take that off and we'll give people nightmares. And in that moment, I was thinking, Juan, you're such an idiot. How'd you hurt yourself a week before competition? This is your only opportunity. Oh my gosh, you're going to totally regret doing this. I had all these whack songs playing in my station. And this is what I've realized in life. Regardless of the challenge you experience in life, no matter how difficult it is, there's 2 things you can always control. How many? 2. 1 is how you react to it, and 2 is what you choose to do from there. In that moment, I knew, I was like, I've done crazy things, but in that moment, I was just so overwhelmed. I was so stressed out. I was thinking, there's no way I can do this. So what did I have to do? I had to change my attitude. I had to change my station. So as I'm holding my ankle thinking, you're so stupid, all this, I was like, man, hold up. That is whack, because the truth is, I eat problems like this for breakfast. And when I said out loud, I was like, yeah, I do. Because when I said it, it took me a moment to stop, and it changed, and it got distracted me to think about hurting my ankle to like, I eat problems for breakfast. Well, when I've done that, I'm like, dude, I remember back in wrestling where I've had more serious injuries than this, and if I can make that, I know I can make it through this. Now, I know some of you are thinking right now, dude, this is just totally silly, not my thing, but the reason why it works is because when you're stressed out, we get overwhelmed by it. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't prepare for this test. I'm totally going to bomb this test. You're running to that important interview. You're running late. You're thinking, oh my gosh, what if they're not going to hire me because I didn't show up on time? They think this reflects my character. We overwhelm ourselves with all the stress, and we think about the worst case scenario. When you say, hold up, that is whack, it makes you laugh. So you can take a mental step back, go into your long-term memory, and remind yourself of the amazing things that you've done in life. I know I may not know you personally, but what I do know is that you've been through some challenges in your life. Is that fair to say, yes or no? Yeah. You've also overcome some challenges in life. Is that fair to say, yes or no? So here's the thing. When you say, hold up, that is whack, it's just step back and you're like, you know what? I'm stressed out right now in school with life. But you know what? That's whack, because the truth is, man, last year, I remember that one semester, by far the most difficult in school. If I can make it through that semester, I know I can make it this semester. You might be having a relationship in your life that's been a lot of pain because of things that have happened. And you're thinking, you know what? This is not going to work out. This is not going to last. And you're thinking, hold up, that is whack. Because the truth is, I remember a couple years back, I went through a similar situation with a different relationship. And what I've realized is that if two people are committed, then they can make it work. If I'm committed to this, I made it work in the past, I know I can make it work now. It's not about making things up. It's just you taking a moment and remembering things that you've actually done and drawing on those experiences to give yourself the confidence to deal with real life challenges that are happening to you. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay, so this is what's crucial though. When you change the station, you play that new song, you give yourself that reason, you have to give yourself many reasons why that negative self-talk isn't true. Why? Because oftentimes we beat ourselves, oh, you're so stupid. And we say it so many times, we have to combat that with many reasons why that's not true. I mean, think about if you're listening to a song, and it's a whack song, like a Justin Bieber song. We got some believers in the house. But if you hear a whack song on the radio, and you change it, the playlist or the station one time, I mean, the song will still be stuck in your head. Is it too late now to say sorry? 'Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Don't pretend like you don't know the lyrics. So back to my story. My ankle's swelling up. I said, that is whack. 'Cause truth is, I eat problems like this for breakfast. I was like, all right, I feel better, but I had to keep on changing my station. So I was like, hold up. That is whack. 'Cause the truth is, I will handle this. Hold up. That is whack. 'Cause the truth is, man, because the bigger the setback, the bigger the comeback. Here's the thing, when you say things out loud with conviction and emotion, what happens is you become overwhelmed with that feeling. You become what I call lethally confident. This is the type of confidence you're working on a project, everyone's all stressed out except you, and you're like, move. Get out the way. I got this. And here's the thing, I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to take a moment, and in a second, we're going to try out this technique to see if it works for you. I want you right now to think about, what is that whack song you have playing your station as you're here at the state convention? Is your song about your ability to do well within the FFA chapter and organization? Maybe your whack song is about saying hello to that person you really like. Or maybe for you, it's doing something far out your comfort zone that you always wanted to do, but you're afraid, what if I don't achieve this and what people think about me? Whatever it is, I want you to think about what's that whack song playing in your station. And I want you to repeat after me. Hold up. That is whack. Man, that effort was whack. Come on, let's be honest now. At the beginning of this general session, you guys are making tunnels, I'll transform, FFA, dancing, and now it's like, hold up, that is whack. Let's be real. Scale from 1 to 10 as a group, 10 being we gave all the energy we had, 1 being did not even try at all. Is it fair to say that that was not a level 10 effort, yes or no? Important follow-up question, why not? Some of you are like, Juan, I'm tired. We traveled far to come here. Some of you are like, Juan, I wasn't ready. Some of you are like, Juan, I came to the FFA State Convention to make friends, not lose friends. Regardless of the reason why you didn't give it the best effort, what I've noticed is this. I've done this all across North America with elementary school kids, with grown adults, and I've noticed the reason why people don't give it their best effort is because they're scared of what other people think about them. And what I've noticed is this, it's that whack song in our heads. Oh, what if I look silly? What people think about me? And as leaders, I'm sure you've known is that unfortunately in life, you're always going to be judged. What is fortunate is you have the choice to let go of those people's thoughts who are not important to you. What's difficult is that, sort of like the advice of have a great attitude, be positive, Not caring what other people think is easier said than done. So personally, what's really helped me to let go of other people's thoughts, it's about flexing that muscle called courage. What do I mean? Everything that's important to your life, your aspirations, your goals, is going to require you to step out of that comfort zone, to step out of your comfort cocoon. Asking that person out, running for a leadership position within your chapter, maybe running for national FFA. Whatever it is, it's going to make you step outside that comfort zone. And guess what? As you think about that thing, it's going to scare you. As you do it, it's going to scare you. After you do it, it's still going to scare you. But just like exercise, if you're lifting a weight, the more reps you do, the stronger your muscle gets and the easier that weight gets. So I want to give you a second chance. But here's my challenge to you. As we do it the second time is to commit to give it a level 10 effort, and then afterwards you can see if it works for you or not. Does that sound fair? Yes or no? Yes. Are you guys ready? Yes or no? Yes. Whoa, your enthusiasm is overwhelming. Okay, here's the thing. To get the full effect technique, step 1, without talking, stand up. Step 2. You must include the hand motion. This is critical for this to work. And I know I see the staff, the adults. This includes you too. Last bonus step, extra credit. Go ahead and insert a little attitude. Some of you know what I'm talking about, okay? Some of you are like, I think I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. Now, here's the thing. Some of you are like, all right, it's dark in here. Juan won't see me. Number 1, that's not true. But number 2 is that if you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to do this, I can totally respect that. Why? Because I'd be the exact same way. But here's my thing. Is if you're kind of like hesitant, like whether I want to try this or not, let me ask you this. Has there been a time in your life where you wanted to do something, talk to that person, try it for something new, but you didn't do it? If so, it's because of a whack song. It's probably the same whack song that's holding you back from doing this exercise. And what I want to encourage you to do is just, hey, what? It's dark. It's hard to see people. Try it for 20 seconds. If you feel better afterwards, it's an actual practical thing you can use for the rest of your life to make you feel better. If it doesn't work after you are willing to try it, then you don't have to ever do it again. But the only way if you know if it works, if you're willing to just give it a try. Does that sound fair? Yes or no? Yes. And if you're still concerned that people are looking at you, don't worry. Just stare at the ceiling. Nobody will stare back. So this is what's going to happen. In a moment, we're going to bring the energy up in the room. I'm going to be clapping my hands. You'll clap with me. I'm going to count 1, 2, then 3. Then I'll say, hold up. And then you start repeating after me. Make sense? Are you guys ready? I said, are you guys ready? Clap it up. 1, 2, 3. Hold up. That is whack. Because the truth is, I am the bomb. Hold up. That is whack. Because the truth is, I eat problems for breakfast. Man, I said, hold up. That is whack. Because the truth is, the bigger the setback, the bigger the comeback. Turn to the person next to you, give them a high five, and have a seat. If you can hear me, clap once. Hear me clap twice. Okay. Be honest here. Did that feel a little silly, yes or no? Most of us, yes. Some of us, no. But with that being said, think about how you feel now. I'm curious, do you feel better, whether it's more energy, more relaxed, happier, more awake than you did just 20 seconds ago, yes or no? Here's my thing, my friends. Life can be complicated. I like to make things simple. And here's the thing for me. I'd rather for a brief moment do this and feel a little silly for a brief moment, be like, you know what, wow. I was feeling so stressed out, but now I feel calm, at peace, and confident that I can continue walking forward and address this issue or this challenge. Versus being like, oh no, I'm too cool for this, and continue being stressed out. So next time you're feeling yourself a little overwhelmed, you have that negative self-talk in your head, boom, change station. If you have a fellow member from your chapter, or maybe throughout these next couple days at the state convention, if you see someone having a rough day, help them to change their station. Advisors, if all of a sudden your members give you some excuse like, oh, my bad, curfew's at that time. Oh, my watch is slow. Oh, hold up. That is whack. It's universal. You can use it multiple different ways. Now, here's the thing. In addition to having the right attitude, I think the last critical component that will support you in your success and transforming your ideas, your goals into reality, it comes down to focusing on the idea of doing your best and forgetting the rest. You see, oftentimes I meet people like, oh, you know what, Juan? Now, I'll be considered, my career with FFA is considered success if all of a sudden we enroll these amount of members, have a chance to do well this sort of event, and to do this and this. And it's dependent on achieving these things to feel a success as an FFA member. Or I meet some people that say, oh, you know what, Juan, I finally feel loved if I could be in that relationship that I wanted. I'll finally feel smart if I get that 4.0. And I want you to know the challenge with the idea is that your feelings, your happiness, your confidence, your esteem is based on making some things happen. And as you probably realized in life, is that sometimes things don't go according to plan. I love the Woody Allen quote says, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And you guys know something always happens, and rather than focusing, I need to make this happen to feel this way, I realize it's focusing on your effort, not the result. A couple years back, I had the opportunity to apply for this competition to speak at the White House. And if you're one of the people selected, you have a chance to go to a luncheon, share a story with the president and different individuals. I wanted to do this competition. You're supposed to send in this video to share about your life, but I'll be candid with you, I was so scared. In my head, my wax song was, Juan, you can do this thing, people support you, but if you don't get selected, what are people going to think about you? What if you're going to let them down? What if you let yourself down? And I had this wax song in my head. Fortunately, I had a mentor say, you know, Juan, you should do it. And I knew I would regret it if I didn't, so I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it because I'd be a huge hypocrite to tell people not to let fear hold you back if I was letting this hold me back. So I applied to this competition, and you submit a 3-minute video sharing your story. I didn't know how they selected the winner, but what I did know is what I could control, how I react to something and what I choose to do about it. So I said, you know what, I may not know how they select the winner, but I can choose the effort I put into it. So we put 40 hours to craft this video in editing and filming. I didn't know how, again, they don't select the winners, but we said, you know what, we want to make sure as many people sees this video. So with the social media and all the support I had, we blasted it out. Within 24 hours, our video was the 37th most viewed video in the educational category. And by the end of the competition, it had the second most views, more likes, and more comments than any other video. The day came where we hopped on a call with a representative from the White House, and they're announcing the 10 people who were selected. And for me, I was so nervous. I was sweating, and I could feel my stomach tightening every single time they said a name, and it wasn't mine. By the time I got to the last name, rather than having a sigh of relief, I had a sigh of despair. Why? Because I wasn't selected. Instantly, I was thinking, why? I knew it. You shouldn't have wasted your time with this. Why did you even try? Had all these wax songs, but then all of a sudden, I had a piece of advice, a mentor popped in my head. He said, Juan, the purpose of a goal is not to achieve it. Let me say that again. The purpose of a goal is not to achieve it. The purpose of pursuing a goal that you always wanted to do, the real reason is that by going after that thing that excites you, that scares you, you do things you'd not normally do. You experience new things, meet new people, learn new lessons, learn more about yourself. Who you become in the process, that is the true reason why. Achieving the goal is the cherry on top. I'm curious, in your life, has there been times where you had certain goals you set yourself, like if I were to achieve this thing, I feel this way or this way, and you didn't achieve it? But then when you wait a moment and time passes by, could you go back and look back and say, wow, you know what? I learned so much because I did that thing. Even though it didn't work out the way I wanted to, I'm a better person because of it. You see, for me, I didn't get selected to share my story at the White House or meet the president. But what had happened was I met some cool friends, met some new people, got new exposure. But what's interesting is when you then fast forward 2 years later from that experience, I was climbing my cousin's peg wall at his CrossFit gym, and he took a picture of me. He put, Hoan Do, beast in the peg wall, hashtag American Ninja Warrior. I was thinking, yeah, why not? So I just Googled American Ninja Warrior. I saw I'll apply for the show. And to get selected, they base the selection on a 3-minute video of you telling your story. So guess what? I took all the lessons I learned from that White House competition and applied it to my American Ninja Warrior video. I applied to the video, we took the lessons for social media. All of a sudden, we got all the TV hosts to retweet it and comment back. I got selected to go on the show, and I didn't share the story where I snapped my ankle a week before. I was bummed out, but we did 4 hours of physical therapy each day to rehabilitate myself. And by the time I was able to walk and jog, I ran through the course. I made it to city finals, which then aired on NBC. But here's the thing, is my goal was to be the first to conquer Mount Midoriyama. But it didn't work. I fell on the peg wall. I was bummed out, but the lesson was do your best and forget the rest. I was thinking, man, I hurt my ankle. I did everything I could possibly have done to recuperate and do my best in the course. I can't be upset with that because I did the best that I can, and that's all I can ask of myself. The reason why I share all this with you is that in your lives, sometimes we put all this pressure on ourselves, like I need to get this thing to feel this way, to make my parents proud, to do this. I want you to know there's a lot of things in life we can't control. If you focus on things you cannot control, oftentimes you'll be stressed out, frustrated, angry. But when you then focus on what you can control, that's when you can feel happy. That's when you can feel proud of yourself, because that's the only thing that you really can control is yourself. So whatever it is that you want to pursue within your time, within FFA or in life, I want to encourage you to pursue that thing. But don't be so attached to the outcome that this has to happen for you to feel a certain way. What's more important is that you are effort-driven, that you focus on doing your best and forgetting the rest. Now, as our time winds down, I realized I never finished that story at the very beginning of our time together. Remember the one with the rock star assignment? Hello? Are you still there? Do you guys want to know what happened? Okay. So before I share what happened, 2 quick things. Number one is where I get my most joy in what I do. I don't consider this a job, a career, but what I was placed on this earth to do. I figured out this was the right outfit for me when I was a junior in high school. And what I enjoy most is not being on a stage, because really it's just me chatting with a large group of people. What's more important for me is have a chance to interact with people. That's what I personally enjoy most. So for me, I'll be here afterwards. I love to connect with you in person. I'll be here for a part tomorrow. I'll be attending a couple of the sessions, but I love to connect with you personally, learn more about your story. If I can help you in a way, please feel free to reach out. You can connect to me on my social media, if they throw it up, at thatiswhack.com, for real. Also, I've been stepping up my social media game, so wherever I go, I like to give a shout out on my Instagram, on my Snapchat. So hold on real quick. Let me do a quick video for all of you guys. Okay. Need a set here. There you go. Lights are on. Hoan Do here at the South Carolina FFA 90th State Convention with 900 plus incredible members, advisors, parents, chaperones. I just want to take a quick moment to give them a shout out for the amazing things that they do. Everybody, make some noise. I'll post up later. Also is outside, wherever I go, I bring a couple of these along where if you want, I think I have like maybe 50 or so. We have, if you want, develop purchase copies of my book, Succeeding in the Real World, What School Won't Teach You. Also, I have about 50 or so That Is Whack shirts. So if you like to purchase one, great. If not, totally cool, because I have free American Ninja Warrior postcards. If you want, you can stop by, grab one, we can take a pic, give me a high five, a hug, whatever floats your boat. I'd love to connect with you personally. Lastly, is I want to acknowledge a couple groups of people here that do such incredible work and oftentimes don't get the acknowledgement they deserve. The first group of people, they do so much behind the scenes, and you don't see it when you guys are going to a convention like this or different events. I mean, they're working 24/7. And these individuals, without them, you guys wouldn't be able to be part of this amazing organization. So if we could real quickly have all the chapter advisors, if you could stand up for me. And what we're going to do is clap our hands, show them some love from all the amazing things they do. Last group I want to acknowledge is I had a chance to connect with these individuals, whether a conference call or just right before I got here, and it's a small group that has such a big heart, and without them, I mean, this amazing production and the different things throughout the year wouldn't be happening. So if we could have, I think Mr. Keith Cox in the back, any staff members, state officers, if you could stand up. State officers, Mr. Cox. We're going to keep on clapping until he comes out. All right, so what happened with the assignment? I'll keep it short. I decided, should I do it, should I not? Should I do it, should I not? There we go, there we go, here he comes. There we go. You always got to make an entrance and come a little late, right? Awesome, thanks so much, Mr. Cox and your staff for the amazing thing that you guys do.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll give you a handshake. Come on back, come on back. There you go. All right. Couldn't leave me hanging like that, so I kept following him. So, back to the assignment. What do? I said, you know what? I don't want to fail the class, but again, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be like, oh, you should do this. Don't live here, you're back, and let that be something that holds me back. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all out. So the random song I chose was Hey Mickey. Do you guys know that song from Pitch Perfect? Hey Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey Mickey. Hey Mickey. So then I called my friend Janine, who is a cheerleader at our school. I said, Janine, random question. I was wondering, can I borrow your cheerleading outfit? She said, Juan, I'll let you borrow it as long as you promise me you do not stretch it out. Janine, I promise.
Girl, you look cute.
So after a couple weeks, I'm getting ready for the assignment. Before I know it, it's the day of the assignment. The teacher yells out, Juan, are you ready? Mr. Campbell, I'm ready as ever I will be. Hold on, Mr. Campbell, I forgot something. It's about to get turned up. Social media, hashtag state convention, FFA, hashtag lit. So after I do this assignment, I thought to myself, this was probably one of the most challenging and scariest things I ever done. But I'm glad I did it. Why? 2 reasons. Number one is, I think oftentimes in life, it's scary to feel comfortable in our own skin. And what I've realized is that it's okay to be you. It's important to be you. Because there's a saying, you're born an original. Don't be a copy. We all have this unique gift to share, and it's who we are as individuals. And in life, it's being comfortable with who we are, to express the way we truly need to for ourselves, to be real, to be candid, to be authentic. See, for me, doing this, I was thinking, I want to do something outside my comfort zone. I was always concerned about how people viewed me, what I looked like. And I did it because I was thinking, you know what, Juan? If you consider always living your life by what other people think, you're always going to be worried. You're always going to be stressed. And what I've realized is if you're willing to just be true to you, whatever that looks like, whatever it is, what happens is not only do you feel better, feel so much more happier and fulfilled, but because you're willing to be you, to be unique, is you'll inspire other people to say, you know what? I don't have to put this facade. I don't have to put in this front, act differently, talk differently. I can be me. And what happens is that you cause a ripple. You transform the way people think, the way people treat others, if you're willing first to transform yourself. Now, my hope is that going into the state convention, I know this is the very first night. My hope is you understand is that your ability to succeed in this incredible organization, your ability to succeed in school and life, it doesn't come down, again, to your age, your background, what you have, how you grew up. Rather, it comes down to the decisions you make. It's making sure when you find obstacles in life, realize it's okay not to always be positive. What's more important is that you choose to have the right attitude. It's making sure as you pursue your goals, realize I don't need to make sure I hit all these things on this checklist to feel a certain way. What's more important is that I focus on doing my best and forgetting the rest. Now, if that's too much to remember, then I hope you take this away. If you're going through a tough time, you realize you can change that station. It's simple. All you need to do, help me out. You guys say what? Hold up. That is whack. I'll be in the back near the FFA kind of drop, taking photos. We'll be in that back corner. Please come by, say hello. Thank you so much, South Carolina FFA.
Mr. Do, thank you for your inspirational words. I know that everyone in here tonight can take something away from your message and apply it to our everyday lives. Thank you for everything that you've said, and thank you for joining us at the 90th Annual South Carolina State Convention. Please accept this gift on behalf of the association. Thank you so much. Remember to join our National Vice President, Deshaun Blanding, for his workshop entitled Breakthrough, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in Lahotsky Auditorium. In this workshop, you will learn that growth requires us to break through the walls that limit us from reaching our ultimate success. You will learn how to take the necessary steps to transform and grow as a leader. At this time, Mr. Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
I have none, Mr. President.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this session? We are about to adjourn the first general session of the 90th Annual South Carolina FFA State Convention. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, please join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for an amazing first session. Session adjourned.